So you'll see that cloud plugin this year, pretty exciting stuff. Last area of the vCloud focus is on interoperability, and we do think this is critical. There are two types of interoperability that we'll be working on and would like to get these things to be standardized, not just so VMware can use them, but so that other implementations can also fit in with them. And that's because of our goal of creating a very open ecosystem of compatible cloud providers. Two areas, just to kind of bring it to your attention, that we need to work on. One is there a simple way, and there should be a very simple way to actually send virtual machines places and power them on. It's a very simple set of interfaces because you don't need to worry about the underlying infrastructure and how it runs. And the other part is around the workload that you're actually moving between spots. And the good news is that we've moved pretty far along where there's an actual official standard called the Open Virtualization Format that describes a set of virtual machines as well as some of the policies that can travel with them. And so look for more news from us on this front. We hope to open these up quite a bit so that others can help us achieve the vision we have, which is a very rich ecosystem of clouds that are differentiated, but more compatible than not. And I think we see a world where you can choose from a lot of different cloud providers that have different levels of abstraction, maybe different SLAs, or some use green power, and that's what you're committed to using. This is where the broker model that Dr. Cripps alluded to could start to come into play, giving you this choice in a lot of different cloud providers that meet some form of criteria. Okay, so that was a quick touch at what we're delivering on the cloud front. I want to move on to the final section here, which is vClient, where we're working on desktop as a service. And to recap, we talked about the rollout through 2009 that consists of a few things. Centralized management of your desktop virtual machines, a great user experience, whether you're connected over the network, or as we talked about with Intel yesterday, whether you're delivering it to a client virtualization platform, taking advantage of those local graphics and other multimedia resources that you have. So quite an aggressive agenda for our desktop team. I want to make sure people understand what we talk about when we speak of centralized management as well, because this is the key to allowing this hybrid mode of people being online and offline. We want the best of both worlds here. So there are a few specific things that we offer today in our View Composer product, and these are shipping. The first is a very easy management approach to provisioning desktops to users. When you do a desktop adoption, it is a large number of users, and we want to be able to push out this virtual machine as efficiently as possible, the official IT-approved desktop. And we do it through something called link clones on the desktop front. It means that we don't have to push a full data to everyone. Rather, we send them a pointer to the master disk file, and as they go and modify their desktop, we'll let it change, put differences to the side, so that we're saving disk space and ultimately can make it easier to patch. And when you're on the thick client, we'll actually push the full virtual machine down to your laptop, which is effectively a cache of your desktop personality. So what happens when you need to go and patch it? This is one of the bigger challenges, and there are a few things we've done. First of all, by using a master disk with differences on the side, many cases will allow us to just change that master disk and push them out. But what's also exciting is the use of a product that we have called ThinApp. And ThinApp is application-level virtualization. It isolates a Windows application from the specific version of DLLs that are on your machine and from the specific interfaces that it's using. Think of it as a bubble around your application. In this case, because it's completely isolated from that underlying disk image, we can simply push the bubble out. We don't have to worry about exactly what version was down there from a Windows standpoint, and we know it'll just come up and running. So we'll use the master VM and then ThinApp models for pushing out new applications. The last one is one of the most interesting, which is around policies too. As an IT department running a big data center full of desktops, you want to know that your policies can be enforced on all your users, whether they be online or offline. And the centralized model where they're actually coming to your servers to get the virtual machines is fairly straightforward. We're leveraging our ACE server technologies, if you're familiar with that product, to do things like encryption on the disks, or not allow people to put in USB keys to take data out. But what I like is on the thick client side, as we're going out with the client virtualization platform, we can also force the hypervisor to check back with the master server periodically and see if its policies are still enforced. So in this case, we pushed out a security policy that actually said, hey, no one's allowed to actually use their desktop anymore. We found a big flaw and we don't want anyone touching it. The next time that thick client calls in, it'll actually see that it no longer has the rights to be using this desktop, and it self-destructs, and that desktop is gone. So that's the high-level view of the centralized management that comes with the VMware View product. But the last part I wanted to talk about is really around this user experience, because it is the major focus for our efforts right now. And a pretty complex chart here showing how we want to attack WAN, LAN, and local technologies. And the answer for our network is a major investment in what we're calling PC over IP, and this is providing you that PC experience over the network. So rather than go into this, I thought the best way to see user experience is to actually experience it. So we're going to bring out Jerry Chen now to show us our PC over IP technologies.